Good morning, everyone, and sorry I'm so late this morning. Big weekend, and the video I had originally planned for this morning didn't seem appropriate because, wow, fabulous news. We have a new socially progressive government in Australia. We voted on Saturday. The results were out very, very late on Saturday morning. In fact, I was looking at them at 4 a.m. on Sunday morning. And thrilling news, our evangelical, conservative, Trump following government was resoundingly tossed out. The government under Scott Morrison, bye, don't let the door hit you on the way out. So we have a new government. And I want to have a quick look at a few things that new government will entail. So, first of all, okay, that's Canada in 2021, France earlier this year, Australia, US, it's your turn, and the UK in a couple of years' time. Bring on your liberal socialist governments. Now, the government we've got is called it is the Australian Labor Party. It was started by unions 100 and something years ago. However, what's actually really exciting is we have the two levels of government. So I'll briefly run through our election system. We have very independent electoral commission, which sets the boundaries and it sets the rules for voting and it does the counting. So this is not organised by the states or by the government itself. This is an independent body that oversees the election system. We vote on a Saturday to make it fair. We have every primary school and a lot of community halls are turned into polling booths for the day. So literally I waited probably 3 minutes to get in to vote, and the only reason I went to vote today was it was my youngest's first ever opportunity to vote in person, and she wanted to experience it. For the past 15 years I've either voted early by going to one of a dozen convenient early voting stations, or I vote online. We have an online voting system, so it was a bit novel, but I literally waited about 3 minutes to get in to vote on a Saturday, so it's convenient. We have two houses of our federal parliament. Our state parliaments are similar. Two houses. We have the lower house, which is elected on every 3 years, and then we have the Senate, which is the upper house, which is elected on, half of the Senate is elected on every 3 years, so they run 6-year terms. What was quite exciting was that those in the Senate that got voted in was minority parties and independents. So we've got the two major parties in the lower house with a lot of independents there, but the Labor Party can form its own government in the lower house. It has a majority, quite a significant majority, but then they have to get their legislation through the Senate, the upper house, which because there's a lot of minorities and the Greens Party, which is very pro climate action, they'll have to make sure that their policy's pretty darn good to get through. So I'm excited for the future. I'll have a look at a few things about those that weren't on the winning side. They're having a bit of a meltdown, which I find hilarious because the Conservatives are always claiming that us socialists, progressives are snowflakes, yet they're the ones that are having the complete meltdown. So what I want to have a look at, there were several promises that were made during the election lead up, and one of those was an ICAC. Now, if you don't know what an ICAC is, it stands for Independent Commission Against Corruption. So in Australia, we don't vote for positions such as judges and sheriffs and public office. They are independently appointed based on their abilities and skills, and they often are there during several governments, so therefore they retain their independence, and they are accountable to what we call our Attorney General. Now, our Attorney General Yes, we are still a monarchy. Our Attorney General comes in under the Queen, and he is the one that oversees these independents, and he is appointed, and he can be the Attorney General for a decade or more. So he sees over various governments coming and going, completely independent. And so the ICAC, the Independent Commission Against Corruption. Now, what this is looks into government corruption. We have this commission in most of our states. All of our states actually have their own corruption commission, and in all honesty, they've taken down a few governments in their day over brown paper bag money, out of pork barrelling, which is giving money unfairly to one area ahead of another, look, even brought a government down over a bottle of Grange wine. Expensive wine, but it was a gift that was donated, that was not declared by the leader of New South Wales of the day, and it came out at an ICAC commission, and he lost his job. So looking forward to one of those on the federal level. And I've waffled for way long enough. Let's get into some cards. So we have this new government. You can't half tell that I'm a bit excited about it all. I'm going to have a quick look at the promises that they made, that the Labor Party made leading up. Will an independent commission against corruption be set up within 12 months on a federal level? Will a federal independent, yes, there is new start, this is the two factors that really got the party over the line, were the promise of the Independent Commission Against Corruption, because we're fed up with the Conservative corruption of the last 10 years, and the climate. The people want change, and they are emotionally invested in it. So please tell me, will the independent, so they've got a lower house and a Senate that are both pro. I don't think I need to draw any more cards on this. Government and investigation and legality. There'll be a lot of people in the Conservative government that got kicked out that will be shredding today. They will be powering up the shredders. They won't be sleeping at night. So, and then the base is again, I'm just going to go through the base because this is quite interesting. So we have, I'll bring you down. We have the government. We have the investigators. So this is the ICAC. This is going to be my card for the Independent Commission Against Corruption. This is what the people voted for. This is the new start. There's going to be a lot of anxiety amongst those who possibly didn't do quite the right thing, and it's going to happen very quickly. And then we have another new start. This strength, the strength of purpose, this strength of financial, material, earth energy. So yeah, it's gonna be set up really quickly. We then have the next row is it's going to uncover these lies and deceits in a calm and diplomatic manner, but we have this new beginning under this. Now, I know this is usually my Biden card, but when I'm talking about Australian politics, I'm going to talk about Anthony Albanese and the Labor Party. As we enter this, we have faith and courage in this new start under Anthony Albanese. Now, for those that don't know, Anthony Albanese was born into quite abject poverty. This is our new Prime Minister. Now, we don't vote for our leaders, we vote for a party, and the party puts forward the leader. So this is the leader that has been running this party for the last 3 years, and so therefore he is now Prime Minister. He is the leader of that party. If he fails, he will be tossed back to his seat in Parliament, and someone else will be elected up. So we're not bound to our leaders for a particular period of time. But he was born into poverty. He lived in what we call social housing. I think in the UK they call it council housing. It is government supplied housing for those that are in quite dire straits. He was brought up by a single mother in an era of that single mothers were frowned upon, as his father had left. And he managed to put himself through. We do have free public education. He put himself through education. He put himself through university, and he moved into the political sphere to make life better for others who had been in similar circumstances. So he knows what it's like to not be able to put food on the table. Wasn't born with a silver spoon in his mouth, and he is the sort of person who won't engage his ego. He will build a team around him. To quote the old saying, if you're the smartest man in the room, then you're in the wrong room. So he will build a team around him. And so this is going to be my card for him as we are looking forward to this new beginning. So these cards are telling me that yes, I mean the question was that I was thinking, will the ICAC, Independent Commission Against Corruption, be formed within 12 months? The government investigators, yes. There's a lot of anxiety for those that perhaps did not do the right thing, and it will happen in now this card can mean chaos, but because everything is lined up so perfectly in this, the sphinxes aren't pulling in opposite directions, they're pulling forward together. It tells me it's going to move forward very quickly in an ordered and measured manner. So, woohoo, I am excited about that. Now, my next question is that they really wanted to... Oh, and look what's flipped over. Yes, this card was flipped over. So, yes, another ace, another yes, another... new start for truth and honesty. Oh gosh, I'm so... Now my next question is in regards to climate. Sorry if I'm waffling, there's so much to get out today. Climate. Now this government also ran on progressive movement forward, on instigating transition. And they weren't scaremongering about climate change. Now those of you that know Australia know that Australia is very much a coal exporter. However, need to be aware that China is our one of our biggest coal buyers. In 2 years, they will have open their own coal mines and importing coal from Mongolia along the train lines that they are currently building. So they will no longer require such volumes of Australian coal, and that's 2 years' time. China's also, even though it is a big emitter, it has a higher percentage of renewable energy being produced than most Western countries, and they are moving very rapidly towards a renewable economy. It is simply that they are also one of the highest populated countries in the world. I don't know whether China or India come first. But they are moving very rapidly away from fossils. So our Conservative government that has been ousted was very much about continuing down the fossil path. This government that's been elected in is very much about progressive. And an example is that we do understand that during our transition we will need base power to be called upon demand. I mean, we have summers that are days in the 40s. And storage storage of renewable energy is a global issue at the moment. We are working on it, but it is a global issue. We can produce it, but storage is the big issue. So the previous government, with the okay of the new government, had passed legislation to build a gas plant in Kurri Kurri in New South Wales. The outgoing Conservative government wanted to power it with fossil fuel gas. The incoming Conservative government have always said along, it's not yet built, it will be built shortly. The incoming Socialist Labor Party government has said that they want to power it with green produced hydrogen gas. So that's the difference between the two governments, because we do understand that when everyone gets home at 5:30 on a 42-degree day, they're going to whack their air conditioners on, and we have to have something that can be instantly switched on to produce that electricity. So my next question is, how do I word this? Will the incoming government be able to put forward... I'm going to do a little bit of a general on this and see where it leads me. Tell me about... wish fulfillment. Wish fulfillment. Tell me about the incoming Labor government and their transition plan, their energy transition plan. Tell me about the incoming government. Australia has one of the highest, if not the highest, take-up of domestic solar power. I mean, it makes sense because we get so much sun, except for at the moment it's raining and gloomy. But we have the highest uptake of domestic solar power. We understand on a fundamental level that this is the future. But tell me about the incoming government's transition plan. There's a lot of fear about those that work in the fossil industries because it is such a big industry and those associated with it. But just tell me, do an extended cut across the incoming government's fossil transition plan. The incoming government's energy transition plan. Tell me about the incoming government's energy transition plan. Might have to break this up into a couple of readings. Tell me about the incoming government's energy transition plan. Tell me about the incoming... Oh, I've got cards flying out at me everywhere. Okay, there is going to be some disappointment in regards to this. It's possibly not going to move fast enough for some, and others will feel like they're missing out. I suppose that happens every time there is a movement. Only have to think back to the industrial age, and then the advent of the motor car, and then every time there is change, people feel like they miss out. But tell me, that's not the question I'm asking. Tell me about the incoming government's transition plan. Tell me about the incoming government's transition plan. That wasn't quite right. I was thinking about the outgoing government. What they had was their transition plan was leave it to private enterprise, and then they got really snarky when private enterprise said we're closing this coal-powered electricity plant. So they literally had no plan. They had no plan. But tell me about the incoming government's transition plan. Right, let's have a look. See where it takes us. Oh, yes. Yeah, like that. It is small. It is just a page, but it is very much carrying. They're carrying the Ace of Pentacles, which is the card for. Oops, sorry. The card for think big and work hard. So they are moving forward. It's not going to be huge in the short term. They will need to bring themselves up. They're starting from basically a nothing base, even though they do have a plan. But yeah, think big and work hard and will be rewarded. Crossed by the King of Pentacles. Great ideas. Huge ideas. The money is going to be there. It's not crossed, it's actually supported by in this particular reading because they're both of the same. but it is about financial investment, it is about financial security, earth security. So think this is the plan, this is the private sector coming forward and saying thank goodness. Base, we have, oh gosh, these are great cards. Temperance, balance, moderation, but mainly the rebalancing. So what is really important about this transition is we take those who have been in the fossil industry or those who even don't understand the need for this transition, we make sure that we take them along with us, and it is about balancing the fire and water. It is very much about finding that balance, and I think they're going to. In the past, actions and consequences, and justice. Okay, Page of Cups. Again, I think the youth vote made a big difference this time around too. We had 1 million, we don't have a huge population in Australia, 27 million. There were 1 million first-time voters in this particular election, where I think we have about 14 million registered voters in this country out of our 27 million, because voting is compulsory in Australia. There was 1 million of them were the youth, the first-time voters, and I think they were underestimated by the Conservatives. They came forward en masse, and this is what they want as well. So we've got the Page of Cups, again moving forward with an offer. There are things in that cup that are yet to be revealed, so the plan is not fully revealed yet, but this is, again, work. So we've got Pentacles and Cup energy. Pentacles being strength, financial, mentoring, looking after on a patriarchal level, but then we also have the emotional level. So the immediate future is working together, making contracts, making personal contracts. External energy is this wish fulfillment. Internal energy is manifesting possibilities. So these are all fantastic cards in regards to this transition. Hopes and fears. Yeah, it's all about family and future, and I'm really drawn to the dragonfly and the two dragonflies at the top. Now everyone will know, who's been with me for a while, that dragonflies are my transition card, and this is the hope that it is all for families, whatever form those families take. It's about the future generations. It's about providing a clean, livable earth for future generations and a stable foundation for them as well. Okay, potential outcome. They will be hampered in some ways. They possibly won't be able to move as fast as they can. I'll touch on this possibly in the next reading. But there will be some restrictions on them. However, we've got this Albanese card here as well. And we've got the Fool. I mean, you saw me shuffle relentlessly, and I've still got these two cards, albeit in a different order, together. So there will be... there will be anguish. There will be fear. This is these are the people that are currently in denial, and we have them in every country. It doesn't matter what country you're in. They will feel themselves hemmed in and hamstrung and berated against, and they will feel themselves be kept hostage. But in other decks I've got, this particular figure is actually free and looking in a mirror of themselves being kept hostage. So these are the ones that we need to make sure that we bring along with us on this journey, and they will be reluctant about it, but I'm excited. Here I've got my Albanese card, the cool, calm, diplomatic explainer, the bringer forward of emotions, the one that understands and is empathetic, and he will bring us along on this exciting new journey. So I'm really excited. I'm really excited. And then next card is the Three of Wands, which is about bringing your ship into harbour. It is about a plan coming to fruition. A plan coming to fruition. And here we are working together in regards to this on all levels. Base of the pack, we have the lawmakers and the Wheel of Fortune, which is a time of change. I'm going to keep going on this. I'll bring you down again, because what we have on the base is we have the lawmakers bringing forward real change. This is the base of the pack. Victory, the Ace of Cups, and the Ace of Swords. So I'm really excited about the future. Now, that'll do me for for this particular reading. What I might do is I'm going to try a little new format. I'm going to snap out a couple of quick readings. What I want to do is have a look at oh boy, isn't the Murdoch media in Australia having an absolute meltdown today? They put all their money and all their energy into trying to get the evangelical conservative government back in, and they missed out horrifically despite the power they have. We Australians are a lot more cynical. Australians tend to, we have quite a high level of education in this country despite our public system needing more funding. But Australians are very good about seeing through the BS, doing their own research. There are a sector of our society that believe ours is called Sky News, yours is called Fox News. The Murdoch media is having an absolute meltdown, so I want to have a look at the future of the Murdoch media. And as I said earlier, or was thinking earlier, I can't remember if I said it or not, Canada last year, France and Australia this year. Come on, America, your turn. So I'm going to have a look at the midterms as well. So what I'll do, I'll slip out a couple of quick readings on those two topics, the Murdoch media and the US midterms. Right, after all that, I need to go and have a breather. That's exciting. Catch you later. Take care. Bye-bye.